Welcome straight to business as I invite Dr. Henry Nzekwu, who headed the ceremonies and protocols of the Edo 2020 National Sports Festival. He's going to be telling us how a Nigerian organization was able to carry out this particular event we saw in the opening and closing ceremonies of the sporting fiesta. Good day and welcome to Sports Fire.
Thank you very much, Callistus.
Well, are we saying it's a carry forward in terms of experience from Koja 2003 to the centenary, and looking at Canarive, where all of this experience put together at your work at the 2020 National Sports Festival?
Well, certainly life is a continuum. So as you learn and you move forward, it makes sense for you to apply all of the knowledge that you have garnered in your life's journey onto any new challenges that may come in front of you. And so the being asked by the Edo State government to help put together the ceremonies of the National Sports Festival was another occasion to bring all of these key learnings together.
We're looking at the Edo 2020. Was it going to hold? Was it not going to hold? You know, few days to the opening ceremony, few days to when athletes were asked to go to, you know, their games village. There was still this. How did you cope?
Well, first is I think you cope when there's clarity as to what you want to do and what you set to achieve. Number two, you cope when the leadership, the team that you're working with, has empowered you sufficiently to do what you're supposed to do. Hiccups are part of the game for any big undertaking. Yes, but this was purely exceptional. Or extraordinary in terms of, I mean, this was an event that should have taken place in March last year, and then was postponed, and then suffered several postponements in the course of maybe about 3 or 4. Even up until the last time, we were not sure what was going on. But essentially, because we had planned the story that we had to tell, what changed was the personnel, you know, that would have to be deployed to tell that story. In some cases, we're lucky. All of what had been rehearsed and scripted and planned in the year before, most of the personnel were still intact. So it's sort of like shorten the time required, you know, to sort of like unearth everything and realign all of the things that had been planned.
What story did you tell?
Well, we set out to tell the story of the fusion of culture, sports, and of course entertainment. You know that the sports festival draws its roots from the Olympic community, if I may call it that, the international Olympic community or sporting community. That always is an occasion that has certain traditions and certain rituals, you know, that must be respected or must be carried out as part of any opening and closing ceremony. So that had to be put in one box. The second thing was, of course, you had to be sensitive, you know, be reflective of the culture and traditions of the host. In this case, Benin City, Edo State, which is the hotbed of, if you like,
Asian civilization,
culture in Nigeria. So there is no way any visitors would have come to Benin or Edo State and not leave with a taste of the culture of the people. That was the number two. And thirdly, of course, even for sports people and everybody who's watching, you are not just there to be told the story of sports and culture. You want to be entertained. You want to leave with a positive vibe. You know, you want to set the tone for what would even make the athletes perform better and relax everybody. And so that was the task that we set about trying to accomplish.
I had asked you this question before. Were you competing against yourself? Because you did the opening, you did the closing. If I say I have a particular score,
yes,
for the opening,
yes,
shouldn't I expect that score to be equaled or surpassed in the closing? That's my question.
Well, that would be a fair way of looking at it, but however, the circumstances are different. Technically, you would say that, I mean, this was an event that the opening took place on the 6th of April. The closing was on the 14th. So between the end of the opening ceremony and the closing, you had like 7 days. Okay, so first you need to tear down everything you had set up for the opening. Sports had to take its course, and then in the middle of all of that, I won't call it madness, you know, you now have to
let's use the rush.
We're in the middle of all that rush. You now have to rethink and go back again to now, you know, dumping that set of ideas and immersing yourself in a new structure with different challenges. I mean, you don't have as much time to set up. You know, the requirements are completely different. The personnel are somewhat different. You know, so in that case, they probably both won't be the same. I mean, if you had to do one without the other, you know, then perhaps...
Doctor, let's talk briefly. Time is not very friendly with us in the course of this program. The shortest 30 minutes on television.
I hear you.
The broadcast.
Yes.
Wouldn't have been easier for you to coordinate if you had a singular host broadcaster?
Well, that is the lingering problem with... The problem lies with Nigerian broadcasters. I hate to say they hate to collaborate and cooperate. You know, we come to an event. First, the broadcasters never try to immerse themselves in the critical elements of any function. They arrive on the day, you have set up, they plunk their cameras in front, ready to cover the event, without paying attention to the details of what they're supposed to cover. Secondly, you make a good point. The issue of having a host broadcaster production company put it together. So anywhere you are, you can take signals. Nigerian broadcasters are very hesitant, in fact, almost aggressively, you know, disapproving of taking signals that have not originated from them. You know, so you have a plethora. I mean, imagine in Benin, small stadium, what would have happened if you had 3 broadcasters coming with 3 different outside broadcast vans? You know, everybody with 3 or 4 cameramen littered all over the place. It's very untidy. So if the broadcasters will learn to cooperate and believe, even if you've been appointed a host broadcaster, that's different from you covering the games, you are happy to give signals to other broadcasters so that we have a unified signal. Anywhere in the world you see it, the picture is the same.
Okay, let's do a little bit of the protocols.
Yes.
The ego of the big men.
Yes.
Their positioning, their requests, their demands. In putting all of this together,
yes,
what are the considerations?
That is another challenge that we have. The first thing is you try to do a scripted event. They tell you, or you decide this event is 2 hours. You inform everybody it's 2 hours. You have timed everything sequentially. You tell a big man, you know what, you're supposed to arrive, let's say at 6 p.m. or at 6:30 for this event to happen. The big man doesn't come. Once he doesn't come in, you know, you have that problem. Number 2, on the script, you've told the big man, we're allowing you 3 minutes or 4 minutes to deliver a speech. You come on stage and you decide to hog all of 12, 15 minutes. You know, you disrupt the program. Again, there will be other things that are not within our control, like with Edo specifically, you'll recall, for the opening day, we had the huge thunderstorm, which basically delayed us and caused us to lose about 45 minutes. And of course, it takes time for you to repower your equipment and recalibrate everything. So again, those things happen. But if our big men, in fact, the one I must not forget to talk about is what I've christened the almighty podium issue. You know, it's only in Nigeria, maybe not only in Nigeria, but you have a stage set up for performances. Suddenly you have a podium for president, they come, they plunk it there, boom. You have another podium for governor there, maybe another one for deputy governor. Everyone refusing to use one podium. And you have to go through educating and advising and pleading with people that, you know what, take these things away. You know, we have a performance here. Your podium is an obstruction. You know, but it's a mindset. I mean, people go to the White House and they all speak from the podium of the president. That doesn't make them the president.
Finally, Doctor.
Yes.
We're looking at message-wise. Will you say you are available all the time?
Available?
Yep.
Why wouldn't I be available? I am available, certainly. I am available. The reality is for some of these things, look, these types of events don't happen every day. They're once in a while.
We're looking at the Ministry of Sport buying into your fusion?
If they do, I mean, I'll be very delighted, because what we're all there to do is to raise the standards of how we do things in Nigeria. That's always been what I've preached all my life. So I hope that the next hosts of the sports festival will pick up from the standards that Edo State has set, you know, in making sure that, you know, Nigerians come to imbibe and embrace a new way and a new standard of doing things.
Thank you very much, Dr. Henry Nzekwu.
Thank you very much,
Executive Vice Chairman, Message Wise Limited.